It was exactly 2:13 in the morning. The street was silent, bathed in a sickly amber glow, as I walked the familiar path toward my quiet, empty suburban home. Then I saw him. Standing beneath the flickering streetlight was a man, frozen in place. But it wasn't his posture that stopped my heart. It was that terrifying, impossible smile. He didn't move. He didn't blink. He just stood there, that manic, wide grin cutting through the darkness like a wound. I felt a cold chill crawl up my spine. Trying to shake the dread, I picked up my pace. I told myself it was just a prank, some weird guy acting out for an audience of one. I glanced back, my heart hammering against my ribs. To my horror, the man in the trench coat was moving too. He was walking at my exact same pace. I stopped abruptly, pretending to tie my shoe. My breath hitched as I watched him. Without a moment's hesitation, he stopped too, standing perfectly still in the dark. Panic began to set in. I stepped onto the grass, moving away from the path. He did the same, his movements synchronized with mine in a terrifying, silent dance. I couldn't take it anymore. I turned a corner, hoping to lose him in the labyrinth of the neighborhood. But as I turned, he turned right behind me. He wasn't just following me. He was mirroring my every instinct. It was as if I were controlling him, or as if he were a shadow I couldn't shake. I pulled out my phone, my fingers trembling so violently, I almost dropped it. I needed to call someone, anyone, to tell them I wasn't safe. I tried to dial my brother, but the line was dead. Not just no signal, but complete, hollow silence. No dial tone, no static, just an empty void. The neighborhood had gone unnaturally quiet. No crickets chirping, no distant cars passing, no wind in the trees. It was as if the world had simply stopped breathing. Every time I looked back, he was closer. He wasn't running, yet the distance between us was shrinking with every frantic step I took toward my house. I broke into a full sprint. My lungs burned, and my feet pounded against the pavement, the sound echoing like gunshots in the dead of the night. Even in my sprint, I could see him. He wasn't running, but he was moving with a terrifying, rhythmic grace, that wide white smile never once wavering. I turned into a driveway, hoping a neighbor might be awake. I hammered on a door, my knuckles aching, praying for a light to turn on. No lights flickered on. No voices called out. The house remained a dark, silent tomb. The neighborhood felt abandoned, as if everyone had vanished into thin air. I turned back toward the street, and my blood froze. He was standing at the edge of the driveway, just a few feet away, watching me silently. I couldn't go home. He was too close. I had to find a place to hide, a place where he couldn't see me, or wouldn't think to look. I squeezed myself into the narrow space between a fence and a garage, my breath coming in shallow, ragged gasps. I tried to stay as still as possible. I heard it then, the slow, rhythmic tap of footsteps on the pavement. He was walking past my hiding spot, just inches away from where I lay. I held my breath until my chest ached, terrified that even a single exhale would give me away. The silence was more oppressive than the fear itself. The footsteps faded into the distance. For a moment, I allowed myself to believe he was gone. I waited, listening for any sign of his return. But as I stood up, I saw him again. He wasn't gone. He was standing at the end of the block, watching me with that same unmoving smile. This wasn't a game anymore. He was hunting me. I turned and ran toward the park, thinking the open space would give me a better chance of escape. The park was a nightmare of shadows and twisted trees. Every bush looked like a crouching figure. Every rustle of leaves sounded like his approaching footsteps. I looked back over my shoulder. He was there, moving through the trees with a terrifying, effortless pace, his beige coat a pale ghost in the dark. I lost the path. The trees seemed to close in around me, creating a claustrophobic maze that I couldn't navigate. I was lost, and he was coming. It wasn't just the man. Something felt deeply, fundamentally wrong about the air, the silence, and the very nature of the night around me. Then, I heard it. Not footsteps, but a wet, sliding sound, coming from the darkness ahead. It was something much larger than a single man. I realized then that the smiling man wasn't just following me. He was staying between me and the shadows, his eyes constantly scanning the tree line. I saw a shape in the darkness beyond the trees, a massive, shifting silhouette that moved with a sickening, multi-limbed grace. It was something inhuman. He wasn't the predator. He was the distraction. His impossible smile, his strange mimicry, it was all meant to keep my eyes on him. In my panic, I had been running straight into its path. I had been leading the thing right to myself, thinking I was escaping. The smiling man suddenly turned and looked at me. For the first time, his expression wasn't just creepy. It was urgent. He was gesturing for me to move. I didn't wait to understand. I ran in the opposite direction, following the direction he pointed. I ran until my legs felt like lead. Even as I fled, I could hear him. He was still there, his rhythmic footsteps, a constant grounding presence in the terrifying silence of the night. I burst out of the park and back onto the streets. I was near the edge of the neighborhood, where the houses were further apart. I stopped behind a large oak tree, leaning my head against the bark, trying to calm my racing heart. I needed to think. Then, I felt it, a presence. Not the smiling man, but something else. A cold, heavy weight in the air that made the hair on my arms stand up. The thing in the shadows was moving again. It was closer than the smiling man. It was faster. It was something that didn't belong in this world. The smiling man appeared from the darkness, stepping directly into the path of the shadow. He stood his ground, his wide, terrifying grin facing the void. He was drawing its attention. He was being the monster so that I wouldn't have to be. He was the shield, wearing a mask of madness. I didn't look back again. I ran with everything I had left, toward the lights of the main road, toward anything that felt human and safe. I burst into the light of a gas station, the sudden brightness blinding me. I collapsed on the pavement, sobbing, my heart feeling like it would explode. A worker looked at me with concern, but I couldn't speak. I could only point back toward the darkness, toward the quiet suburban neighborhood I just fled. He looked where I was pointing, but there was nothing there. Just the empty, dark road and the distant, flickering streetlights of the sleeping town. I stayed there until the sun came up, paralyzed by the fear that if I moved, the darkness would find its way into the light. When dawn finally arrived, the world looked different. The shadows were gone, replaced by the mundane reality of a quiet, sunny morning in the suburbs. But I knew what I had seen. I knew that the smiling man hadn't been a monster, but a guardian of a much darker truth. Sometimes, in the middle of the night, I still look at the shadows in the corner of my room, wondering if they're moving. I learned that not everything we fear is the enemy. Sometimes, the most terrifying things are the ones trying to protect us. And though I never saw him again, I can still see that grin in my dreams. A wide, impossible smile that haunts the edges of my mind. He was a shadow, a mimic, and a madman. But he was also the only reason I made it home that night alive. Because the things that wait in the dark, they don't smile. They just wait for you to stop running. I often wonder if he's still out there, walking the streets, watching the shadows, and waiting for the next person to stumble into the dark. And I wonder if he's watching me right now, smiling from the shadows, making sure the things in the dark stay exactly where they belong. The night never truly ends when you've seen what's hiding behind the grin. The darkness is always there, just waiting for the lights to flicker. So, if you're ever walking alone at 2 a.m. and you see a man with a smile that's just a little too wide, don't stop to look. Don't stop to think. Just run. Run until you find the light, and pray that he's there to lead you to it. Have you ever felt like you weren't alone in the dark? Tell us your stories in the comments. And subscribe for more chilling tales.